The laughter around the tree blurred, muffled, as I unwrapped the small square box. Christmas morning. Paper scattered across the carpet, smiles plastered across faces. Inside, lying in cheap tissue paper, was my father's watch. The one I had mourned for, the one I thought I'd lost forever. For a second, my breath stopped. My chest tightened. I touched the worn leather strap, the faint scratch across the glass. Every detail I knew by heart. My pulse raced. Before I could ask, her sister chimed in, grinning like it was all a joke. "Oh," she said, with that careless giggle, "I forgot I took that." Her words hit like a knife slipped between ribs. Forgotten, stolen, mocked. I looked to my wife. She didn't flinch, looked away. Then her mother's voice cut the air. "Don't start drama over a watch." Over a watch. Over the last piece of my father I had left. Something in me shifted. Quietly. Permanently. That night, while the house slept heavy with food and drink, I packed a bag. Slowly. Deliberately. I didn't slam drawers. Didn't leave notes. Just folded clothes into silence. I already knew I wasn't staying. The next morning, her scream ripped me out of shallow sleep. She shook me by the shoulder, eyes wild, voice cracked. "What did you say to her?" Her panic was raw, not anger, fear. I blinked, slow, said nothing, let the silence burn. She searched my face for answers, but found none, because I hadn't spoken a word. Not to her sister, not to her mother. I hadn't needed to. My silence had already become its own weapon. And that's when I understood. Someone had broken. The betrayal had always been quiet. Not a single act, but a pattern. Little things gone missing. My jacket loaned without asking. My tools borrowed, never returned. Private stories retold as jokes at dinners. Every boundary eroded, piece by piece. And my wife never stopped them. Sometimes she joined in. Sometimes she looked away. I had thought it was family culture, humor, carelessness. But now, with the watch in my hands, I saw it for what it was. Contempt disguised as play. Theft disguised as love. They hadn't wanted the watch. They wanted proof they could take anything, even what was sacred. That realization was heavier than the gift itself. I spent the following days in silence, moving as though nothing had changed. But inside, I cataloged everything. I noticed the way her sister avoided my eyes now, the way her mother kept her sentences clipped, watching me for reactions, the way my wife pretended nothing had happened, her smile brittle at the edges. Fear had entered the house. And fear, once planted, grows. I didn't confront. I didn't accuse. I waited. And they unraveled themselves. A whisper I wasn't supposed to hear. What if he tells someone? A text message left open on the counter. He knows. A hurried phone call cut off as I walked into the room. Each slip of panic confirmed what they thought I'd said. Something damning. Something final. But I'd said nothing. That was the brilliance of it. They gave me the confession I never needed to ask for. The truth came 2 nights later. Her sister showed up at the door, face pale, hands shaking. She didn't laugh this time, didn't joke. Her eyes darted, frantic, searching for mercy. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "It was just stupid. I didn't mean—" She stopped, choking on the weight of her own words, then fled. Her guilt was louder than any accusation I could have spoken. When my wife asked again what I had said, I only looked at her, expression flat, cold, a mirror she couldn't read. That silence broke her more than any answer would have. The revenge was simple, clean. I packed again, this time without hesitation. Documents, keys, accounts, all mine. The house, the savings, the investments, untouchable by them. She had relied on me to protect her family, to shield them, to keep the lights on, the debts hidden, the facade intact. And I withdrew, quietly, entirely. By the time they realized, the damage was irreversible. The collapse was fast. The sister's debts surfaced. The mother's investments crumbled without my money propping them up. Even my wife's career stalled. Doors she thought were open slammed shut once my name was no longer attached. They had laughed at me for being spineless. They had mistaken patience for weakness. But patience is a blade, and silence is sharper than any scream. I didn't gloat, didn't send messages, didn't return calls. I watched from a distance as they scrambled, pointing fingers at each other, tearing apart the fragile unity they had once used to tear me down. Every missed call on my phone was another thread of their unraveling, and I stayed silent. Now, months later, the watch sits on my dresser, the leather strap worn, the glass scratched, imperfect, precious. It no longer carries the weight of loss. It carries the weight of clarity. Because in the end, it was never about the watch. It was about what they thought they could take, and what I proved I could take back. My wife still doesn't know what I said to her sister. The truth is simple. I never said a word.